about a leukemia patient. He is one of yours, Karthik Shankaran from IIM Bangalore, class of 2004. He's been bravely battling leukemia since January 2011. Unfortunately, he had a relapse last week, and his only viable option is to get the disease back into remission and move into a stem cell transplant in another 2 months. Now, Karthik has not yet found a donor match yet, so please feel free to reach out to the following people: Jagmeet at 92301700 or Srikant at 988-6461 if you need any more information about his condition or if you can indeed help. And now, before I announce coffee break, I'd also like to announce the Quest iPad announcement. Quest on the Frontier, you may have seen their exhibition desk outside and you may have put in your business card. Well, I'm here to announce the winner, and I'd like to invite Sanjeev back on stage, Sanjeev Iyer, to give the lucky draw prize winners their gift. Oh no, I believe we're not going on stage, but you can go to the desk outside to collect it in your lucky draw. And the winners are Anuj Sharma, founder of IIM Abacus. You can collect your prize outside. Fantastic, congratulations. And the other winner is Bhaskar Dua, the VP of RBS. And you've both won 2 iPads, so congratulations, and you can collect it outside. And coffee is served, you're free to go. But please be back in 15 minutes because, as I mentioned, we are running behind. Well, I would like to now introduce our next speaker, who is going to talk about riding the wave of entrepreneurship in the Middle East. Now, he was brought over to today. We ran over yesterday. Thank you. He will be speaking about riding the wave of entrepreneurship in the Middle East. We were supposed to hear from him yesterday, but we will get to hear from his insight and his experience today. Now, his name is Avi Bhojani. He's had a 32-year career spanning marketing services, media, private equity, and government sectors. He's been at the helm of the BPG Group, Dubai, since 1991, and has been instrumental in setting up business hubs, including the Dubai Shopping Festival, Dubai Summer Surprises, and Dubai Internet City. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Bhojani.
Thank you and good afternoon. I'm about 24 hours behind schedule, but the conference is going great. And before I start, I'd like to just congratulate the organizers, from Girija to Sanjeev to everybody behind the scenes who worked. Congratulations, you've done a fantastic job so far. And I've got an idea, because as most of us who are entrepreneurial tend to, when you sit for 24 hours, you come up with maybe a few dozen ideas. And I have this 4-day test. If the idea still stays 4 days later, I tend to do a white paper and then I try and build a business. But the idea is for you guys that we've been talking about sustainability, that for any business or any idea to be sustainable, you need to think the next level. IIMPACT has been fantastic. Is it sustainable? Can this kind of energy continue? My experience in Dubai, where we've created a similar Pan IIM bit, is we're finding it difficult to sustain it. Because not-for-profit, my personal belief, I come from the Mecca of materialism, my personal belief is that not-for-profit is generally difficult to sustain. So the idea is, how about converting IIMPACT into a company? The vision could be ranging from a crowd consulting platform to actually creating IIM in Singapore. And to put my money where my mouth is, I'm happy to be the first investor if you guys set up into a company. Well, okay. With that, let me get started. I'll skip through because in 24 hours I've thought a fair bit, and some of it is obsolete what I've written. But the operative word in my book for an entrepreneurship is profit. If you enjoy profit, I think it's a good idea to be an entrepreneur. If you don't, if you like other trappings, status, your number of flunkies, etc., the chances the entrepreneurship is not going to deliver as much of that as it would deliver profits. Anyways, who's an entrepreneur? I'm going to skip that. A lot of us, particularly if we talk about the West, you ask a Britisher, what's an entrepreneurial business, or an American, typically they would say it's generally governance-free. That's when you tend to say a business is very entrepreneurial. Or it's structures-free, there are very few structures in play. Or it could be intuition-based. But there's a burning desire, and it's normally, I have yet to come across an entrepreneur who doesn't work 7 days a week. And this is, you cannot switch off. It's kind of difficult. In the Middle East, entrepreneurship is a necessity. I won't get into the political details of Arab Spring, but fundamentally Arab Spring happened because of lack of employment. And most people feel that in the region, the best way of creating employment is not state-owned, but more self-owned entrepreneurial businesses. But across the countries, I'll just come to where United Arab Emirates is perhaps at a hub in entrepreneurship. Lebanon is there. But there's some interesting, and from UAE, I'll go straight to, it is the entrepreneurial hub of the Middle East. I'm moving. I'll now compare UAE and Singapore, and I'll come to, they're both inherently entrepreneurial. Interestingly, in terms of level of technological innovation, UAE is ahead of Singapore as per this report. In the last day, a lot of people have been talking about entrepreneurship and what I believe, assuming that innovation is at the core of entrepreneurship. Sure, innovation is required. You look at the Silicon Valley model of entrepreneurship, it's driven by innovation, it's driven by IP. You look at the Singapore model, I think there is a little bit of IP and a lot of adaptation. In Dubai, there's very little IP. However, there's a lot of entrepreneurship. So innovation is a useful attribute, but not the essential attribute. A lot of businesses that I have built are not innovative, but they're entrepreneurial. I'll give you, before I get to an example, basically I look at 3 models of entrepreneurship. The Singapore model is top-down. The state decides, they create a fund, and it's available. The Silicon Valley model is bottom-up. People decide. In Dubai, what we're trying to do is a middle-out approach. This is not my original bit. There's a guy called Saib Aigner, who's one of the governors of LBS, who's written a book on From Sand to Silicon, and this is a middle-out approach that he's talking about. Let me try and explain what I believe the difference between innovation and entrepreneurship is. The Great Singapore Sale is something that Singapore innovated. Some of us happened to come for the second one, and we saw an opportunity, and we then went out and built the Dubai Shopping Festival. A lot of people with not putting any value judgments, but a lot of people, including some of the creators or some of the executives of the Great Singapore Sale, tend to believe that Dubai has been more successful at that. It was purely execution, and the execution happened because Dubai had some fundamental advantages, and the advantage was that there was a ruler who could change the law. And so all laws were changed, etc., to fit the structure that was needed to make this collaborative effort. But that was, to me, a lot of entrepreneurship is much more execution than anything else. Sure. Let me, why is Dubai entrepreneurial? Everything that's being stated here, actually, with the exception of zero taxes, fits in with Singapore. Singapore's got low taxes, but then there are a lot of upsides to Singapore as well. But like Singapore, Dubai has a delightful absence of natural resources, and therefore it had to innovate and become entrepreneurial. like Singapore, where Minister Mentor Lee Kuan Yew had a larger-than-life vision, and he managed to execute it brilliantly. Dubai has a ruler. The best statement about him I heard last week, my friend Mohammed Alabar defined him as the man who has seen tomorrow. Your critics say that he's a thoroughbred horse owner, the ruler, but there's some bits that he does which are totally intuitive. I've had the good fortune of working for him for 2 years, and the only two variables he asks: how much you come up with a project, a new idea, whatever, how much time will it take and how much money. So typically you say, it'll take $100 million and it'll take 2 years. He'll say, take $200 million, do it in a year. He understands the value of time. Very often in entrepreneurship, it's the value of time. A lot of businesses are built on first mover advantage. A lot of businesses are built because you've been able to execute that much faster than somebody else who had the same idea. Yeah. Again, laws change. If it's good for business, it happens. The last time I sit on an Apex council which is created, a 14-member board of government and private sector people to try and help redefine where Dubai is going to go in 5 years' time. So our second meeting, he decided to give his yacht. It's a yacht, as you see, and we invited about 100 people. So it's a yacht which is a 50-bedroom yacht. And he turned around and said, okay, guys, if you want it once a month, you're welcome to. And his statement was, if it's good for business, it's good for Dubai, and I'm ready to change the law that you want. A lot of nationalities, trading is part of the DNA. Again, Singapore and Dubai are both very, very similar on a lot of attributes. There are some attributes where Singapore is way ahead of Dubai. One is level playing field. The challenges with, depending on your nationality, the field changes a bit. But then when you pay zero tax, you're not that badly off on that. Another initiative that we worked on was the building of the Knowledge Hub. This typifies that the impossible takes a little longer. Here was an idea from a white paper to launch took 14 days, and that announcement to actual execution took 365 days. In 365 days, Dubai actually had how much? There was about 1 million square feet of office space, a business park, and with 300 companies operating in 365 days from the idea. It shows a certain kind of entrepreneurial spirit. A lot of things went wrong. I exited from this initiative because I ended up realizing it's a real estate play, and I'm not a real estate player. Anyways, so how is entrepreneurship relevant to us here today? A lot of us, I'm sure a lot of us over the last 24 hours have thought, those of us who are entrepreneurs have thought of newer ideas. Those of us who are not have thought that maybe it's time we got out of the comfort of your comfort zones. Be prepared to come out of your comfort zones of fixed income or your hierarchy or the size of your office or your social status. More often than not, we think this, but we don't end up executing. So if at the end of, by next week, if there are at least half a dozen of us who decide to do new businesses or new ideas and it comes out of this session, I think the session overall, the last 24 hours, I think it will be very, very time pretty well spent. My personal takes are very simple. No pain, no gain. Be prepared to. It's not. It's going to be long winters. It takes time, and it becomes pretty lonely. And personally, every time you're thinking of a new venture, it's just you, and then you try and build an ecosystem around you. So it is quite lonely, and sometimes it can take a lot of time. I'd say don't do it unless you really have material trapping. You enjoy that. Some of the most successful entrepreneurs I've come across have wanted to make immense wealth, and they've gone that way. I know a lot of people say different reasons. I tend to believe to be an entrepreneur, if you don't enjoy money, I'm not sure whether you should do a for-profit entrepreneurship. One of the ventures I got into was both my wife and me. My wife's also from IIMB. Incidentally, how many IIMB guys are here? Can you raise your hands? Is Sanjeev around? He said, "Where's Bangalore?" I think the numbers are there. Yeah. No, but, so one venture my wife and I did, and which we still run, a few international schools and nurseries in Dubai. Interestingly, 2 of them are called Raffles. It's a shell company that we had acquired, and we did it because we were not happy with the schools our kids were going to. The motivation was very clear. My wife still runs the business. Our elder son's graduated. He's gone to an Ivy of his choice. The younger one's about to go to Cambridge. We're happy. The business works well. It's a $100 million business. It's a for-profit business. We came out of a personal desire, and your passion is essential. And I'm operating across different businesses. You're multitasking. You've got to be prepared to multitask. But you tend to work 24/7, 365. That's, to me, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you still want your corporate banking working hours where you can book your golf timing bookings, etc. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You've got to be prepared to work 24/7, 365. With that, I end my speech. I've moved a little faster than I had to because I think we are running a lot behind. Thank you.
The next